Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more waterfowl patterning, and today we've got a new setup that we've never tested on the channel with a shell that we know is a very nice performer. So it's definitely going to be a case of kind of an old school bare bones type of setup with a much more modern ammunition that we know performs well. So can the two come together and actually give us a nice looking pattern? I have a feeling we're going to get some very nice results out of this, but we just don't know until we try it. But as for the setup I've brought out here today, I got out my Savage Model 24. It is a Series P. It is an over-under 20 gauge with a 22 long rifle on top. Now, I will look it up here and put it on the top of the screen, but I believe this one is from the mid-70s or so. It's definitely not one of the super fancy model ones, but it is pretty interesting either way. And for today, we will be using the 20 gauge barrel, which is a fixed modified choke that measures out right at a 6 flat, so 0.600. So it's definitely going to be pretty interesting to see what this old combo can actually do with these shells that we've got out here today. And as for the shells I've brought out here today, I got out some more of these, the Salt Creek triple curl shells. They are a 20 gauge, 2 3/4 inch, 7/8 ounce payload of number 9 TSS shot, moving about 1400 feet per second. And we've tested these in a few different combos now with some fantastic patterns that have honestly been a little bit on the too tight side in some of the setups that we've run them through. So with this being a modified choke today, it is technically the tightest choke we've ran them through. So are these going to be a straight up turkey pattern out of this setup? Or since it is a much older school setup, is it going to give us a nice, wide, even, beautiful looking pattern? I don't know, but we know these are good shells. So if this is a good patterning shotgun, they should give us a good result. So as for today's test, everything is set up the same as usual. I got the duck target at 40 yards, and I've got the chronograph so we can get our velocity out of the shell. So enough talking, let's get you guys a view of this target, and we'll take our shot and see just what kind of a pattern we can get from these Salt Creek triple curl 20 gauge shells through this old Savage Model 24. I don't know what we're going to see, but let's head over here and take the shot and see what kind of results we get. Alright, so that shell gave us 1408 through the chronograph. The boss claim is 1400, so yeah, I don't think we can get much better than that. I'd say that we're right on the money with what they're claiming. So our velocity looks good up here, but what kind of a pattern was that old Savage Model 24 able to give us with these Salt Creek shells? I think it looks pretty good, but let's go take a look and see what we actually got. Alright, so now we're down here at our 40-yard paper, and this is what we got. Now, we were just a touch over to the right, but considering the fact that that shotgun barrel on that 24 does shoot way low and right, to the point where I had to aim for the top left corner of the pallet just to hit this, I'll take it. But that's why we use the backers, so we can actually see the pattern. Either way, we absolutely have a dead duck there all day long, and it would be even more impressive if it was centered up a little bit. But I gotta say, this is a very impressive pattern either way. It is a beautifully even spread of them all across that duck, all off the bottom and the right edge here. There's not a single void or gap or string or anything like that in that pattern. And if we look, I think there's one flyer down here at the bottom in the entire pattern. And overall, I still think it's a touch on the tighter side for what some people might prefer. Yeah, that's a pattern that would absolutely smoke a duck out to 40 yards all day long. You would clearly run out of energy before you would run out of pattern capability with that. But that kind of does follow the trend with what we've seen out of these shells so far. Really, all you need is a cylinder bore or maybe a skeet choke. Anything more than that, and you're really starting to condense these down. So they are super impressive shells. But I really like that pattern. It might be a touch on the tighter side for me if I was to waterfowl hunt with this combo, but that is just a personal taste for me. But the pattern is super even. It's very nice and uniform. It's round. It's full. There's really not much to complain about there at all. That is a deadly pattern all day long. Out of an old Savage Model 24, that's going to absolutely hammer whatever you would ever need it for. So once again, it seems like Salt Creek has made a shell that is just kind of good no matter what you do with it, if that makes any sense. So I don't know that there's really much more that I can say about that pattern. I think it speaks for itself. It's super even. It might be on the touch tighter side for some people depending on their setup and how far they're going to be taking their shots, but there's no gaps in there. There's no voids. There's no strings. There might be one flyer in the entire pattern down at the bottom. So really, what do we have to complain about here? Nothing. That is a beautiful looking pattern. So definitely thumbs up for me from this setup today, because I didn't really know quite how it was going to perform coming into it. it, since I really haven't ever used that particular shotgun for really anything. So definitely looking good here, I'd say. Okay, and here's the wad out of that shell, and it just looks pretty well perfect, the same as it always does. There's nothing stuck down in there except the little cork piece they use. This one petal may have opened a little farther than the rest, but I clearly don't think it made one bit of a difference for today. And this wad does remind me a lot of the low bore contact wads that Kent likes to use in some of their turkey shells with these ribs on the side and stuff. If it is one of those or something that's designed to be like one of those, we know they are good performing wads, and these have also been very, very nice performers. We're clearly not over constricting anything yet. There's no damage or anything to really take note of, so it looks very nice. Definitely nothing weird going on. Alright, y'all, well, what did you think about that pattern right there? That is nothing short of super impressive. I don't think we can really get much more uniform and even than that pattern is. There's no gaps, no voids, no strings, anything like that. There might be one flyer in the entire pattern, and considering that that might even be a touch on the tighter side for what some people might prefer, I don't think we have one single thing that we can complain about on that, which has been the case with these shells over and over again as we've tested them. They haven't cared what choke we've ran them through. They've given us a very nice and uniform pattern through anything. They've been fantastic for a waterfowl shell so far, and after seeing some of these results, I kind of want to run them through a turkey choke as well to see what they might be able to do in the turkey world, because I think they could be some pretty decent turkey shells as well. So at the end of the day here, out of what was essentially kind of a little bit of a mystery shotgun to me, I haven't really tested it with anything in particular or used it hardly at all. I didn't know how it was going to perform coming into it, but I knew we had a good shell, and clearly this combination works, that's for sure. If I was to ever need it or want to use it for anything, that's a shell combo that would absolutely get it done for me. So I guess I'll leave it up to you guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Is that about what you expected to see? Were you a little surprised one way or the other? Have you tested any of these Salt Creek triple curl waterfowl shells? And if so, what kind of results have you seen? Do you have one of these old Savage Model 24s? And if so, what do you use it for? What kind of results have you seen out of it? And your overall thoughts on it? And would you use this combination on anything in particular? Let me know all that down below, as well as maybe what other chokes or combos might you want to see these shells shot through, because clearly I think they are pretty good performers. They've proven that over and over again for us. So at the end of the day, that's a result you can't argue with. There's no doubt about that. But with that being said, I've got some more testing to get done for you guys, so I'm going to get back to it. As always, we have the channel Instagram as well as the mailbox where you can send stuff if you'd like. All that information will be in the description if you're interested in it, but I'm going to get back to it, so I'll see y'all in the next one.